Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again?
So I want to give you a scenario here. I had a client yesterday or the day before, and what had happened was, she was on social media, really, really lovely lady, and what had happened was, she had the person in front of her, and they got really excited, and the woman was like, yep, let's get going, what package, what should I do? And my client got so nervous. Has anyone ever felt like that? And they've been closing and they've gotten really nervous. And she freaked out and thought, I'm not, she started to feel sick. I don't know what to do. Anxiety came up. I don't know if I'm working now. What should I ask for? She went into this spiral. Has anyone ever spiraled when they've asked you for money? Yeah. And so what happened was, she chickened out. And if we can imagine here for a second, this here is the money, this here is her, this here is email. It's a barrier to her actually getting the money. So what happened was, she said, oh, look, no problems, let me get back to you. So what will happen is, I'll email you through a proposal, and we can go from there. Has anyone ever done that before? Okay,
Big
great.
mistake.
Great. So when we're talking quickly about emotional selling, what we're talking is emotions. This is the client. I love to draw pictures, by the way. This is the client. So their emotion is sitting here. Oh, look, I'm kind of getting a little bit excited about what Jane's saying. Not really. I'm a bit hungry though. Oh, actually, she sounds pretty good. Oh. Here, some people get really excited, and you'll see them get excited because their face will get excited. They start to lose a bit of breath. Oh my God, when is it? How much is it? Has anyone ever had that when someone's been really excited to buy from them? Yeah. So what happens is, this is where you should close. What happens is, when you suggest an email, the emotion goes back down to here, and you have to start the sales process again. So what this is really about is keeping the emotion high, and that's what we really need to be doing. So when someone's in front of you and they're saying to you, how much is it? What's going to happen next? What should we do? That's when you actually close. Wow. Is that new information to anyone? There's one person here who looks quite freaked out. So when you actually email something through and you send them a proposal and you say to them, okay, it's going to be this amount, whatever, the emotion goes down. They don't care as much, let's be honest.
They put it in the in tray and they leave it there.
Totally.
For weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Sometimes there's no time frame. Sometimes it will never come back to you. The other thing that will happen, and this is the enemy, is that they'll go and ask someone. This is a really bad enemy. Because what will happen is, you've got them up here and you've sold it to them, and then you'll get this third party that'll get in the way. Whether that's the husband, the friend, whatever it is, the wife maybe. If you're selling to the husband, the enemy is the wife. You always want the wife there when you're selling. Because women really generally make the decisions in the household. Generally, we always sell to women. Yes, agreed. So what we're wanting to stop here is that third party. So, for example, have you ever, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, have you ever found an amazing pair of shoes, right? And they've been expensive, but they've been great. Like, they've been amazing, okay? They've been good leather, great quality, they're on sale, you're ready to go. But you ring and call a friend, and they're not there to see them, and so it sounds like a bad deal to them. Have you ever had it when someone's told you not to buy something, and you've run it past someone, and they've said to you, I don't know about that. Next thing you know, you're swayed. You're confused, and you're not probably saying no. You want to keep the third parties out by closing on the spot. That's the number one thing we need to be doing. So the next time you feel yourself opening your mouth, ready to say, here's an email, or get back to you, or whatever it is that you're wanting to say, we want to get back to closing on the spot. Because that takes a bit more guts, but you'll also get a lot of a better result. I have never in my life sold anything successfully from an email, to be honest. Of course, it's a bit different if it's corporate. I know there's a few corporate people here. That can be a little bit different. But when I'm talking about small business to small business or small business to individual, because I know most of us here in small business, we definitely want to convert them on the spot. Obviously, if it's like Telstra or something, the person probably can't give you their credit card on the spot. But,
sorry, can I ask a quick question?
Go for it.
Are you going to tell us how to close them over the phone, or should I ask how you do that now?
We are so getting there.
Okay,
and you are on fire. You're ready to go. Let's do it. Okay, so let's just move right on then. And I want to talk about what I call the powerful offer system. This is what I run by, and I reveal everything that I do up front. So if any of you chat to me later, I'll probably do the same thing to you. It's fine, it's effective, works, whether you know what I'm doing or not. And that is to anchor in the high offer. So when we're offering something to someone, a lot of us will go in with the one package that we want to sell, right? So we'll go in with a $1,000 package or $500 package or $250 package. Does anyone have only one offer that they know how to give? Does anyone have one offer? No?
Well, it's one offer, of course.
So we can chat about that later. I've had a few thoughts about that because I know I've seen you over the last couple of days. Okay, great. So everyone's flexible. This is perfect. So has everyone got offers with different price ranges? Yep. Great. Actually, let's do an example here. Who wants me to show them how to create a good offer? Like you're on the spot. Let's do Martina. What you do is so interesting. Let's do it. Okay, great. So what packages do you have?
So I have a women's workshop.
Yep.
That's 3.5 hours. That's $85.
Yep.
There's a women's one-day workshop. That's $195.
Yep. These are cheap prices, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
We'll chat about that later, but we'll keep going.
An individual session is $310.
Yep.
And then there's a women's retreat for $965. And then there's a training program that's around $1,000. That's $9.
Okay, so first off, this quick tip. The confused mind says no. If you offer all of that at one time, people will freak out and won't buy anything, generally. So you're just wanting to offer 3 things max. So once you've got what the person kind of needs and they want, we'll pop that down to 3 offers. Yeah? Yeah. So you're wanting to, this is perfect. The $11,000 one you always offer. One, because you never know when the person will really want it. So for example, there's been many times that I've made up offers on the spot of huge amounts of money to kind of anchor a high number so my real offer looks cheaper. And they're actually gone for the high number. I've been like, okay, great, let's do that. A bit worried about exactly how I'm going to do it. So we're always wanting to offer in the high training first. Every time. So let's use this for example. I love a good shoe example because I love shoes. There's a lot of people that think that when you walk into a shoe shop, the reason that you've got all the sale items at the back is so you have to walk through all the expensive stuff and you go, oh wow, look at that one, oh wow. Does anyone think that?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's part of it, that's totally part of it. The other part of it is that actually it makes you anchor a higher price. So have you ever walked through, like for example, Q, my favourite store in the entire world, and you walk past, you see the $300 or $400 dresses that you love, and by the time you go back down to the sale rack and you see them for $120, you're like, oh my god, they've got my size, you're ready to go. I can tell you know what I'm saying. Yeah, we're ready to go. That's exactly how I get. But actually, if I just looked at a full price thing that was $120, I'd be like, oh. Whereas when I see it as a sale item, when I see the higher price first, I'm like, that is a bargain. So we're wanting to create a bargain situation in everything that we're doing. So Martina, number one is we never know when someone's going to want the $11,000 offer. So you actually probably, I'm imagining, because a lot of women do this, probably not offering it that much. No, there we go. So you're actually probably robbing people of some of the experience. Because actually some people have a lot more money than what you think. Like seriously they do. When they want to find it, they'll find it.
That's true.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's bought stuff that they really shouldn't buy because they really wanted it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Totally the same. With what you do, you'll be surprised. People got a lot of pain around that area, they will buy. Offer this one first, always straight up. So you wanted to shop them with 11,000, and then I would go down to your, I would then go down to your 965. And then these ones here are all kind of, I would probably not, it's depending on what they need. If they don't need individual, then I wouldn't offer it because it's going to be more impinging on your time. You're better off make more money in a group setting. Let's cross that one off for a second. And then I'd offer a one day. $11,000 to $195, that one seems like a bargain, doesn't it? Whereas if you actually said to me in the beginning $195, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, it's a whole day. If I think it's worth that, and it's coming out of here, so let's say we're down there, Martina, and you said, hey, Jane, we'll list whatever Jane has going on that she would need Martini services. And then we would say, okay, so the first one is $11,000 training. Yep. Then, or otherwise you can have the 965 retreat or the 195 one day. Now, the key here after this, really, really important point, because you're consulting at that point, you're coaching, What I do is I go around on the other side of the table energetically. So I wouldn't actually, if I was selling to Jane, I wouldn't actually sit next to her and freak her out. But that's what you're doing in your own mind. So I call it let's take them shopping. It's beautiful, I love it. So I want you to imagine that the level of excitement that you would have over a good friend getting married and they're trying on their wedding dress. That is what I try to get going in me when I'm offering someone options. So instead of being the salesy person, you're just their friend. And you say to them, hey, the retreat will be really fantastic. It's, I don't know, it's 3 days, for example. That could be really fun for you. Blah, blah, blah. And Jane would say, oh, I don't know, it's a little bit more money. Whatever she's got going on. Shall we tell you some story? Just listen to that. Go with it. And then you just go around with what you want them to do. Now, you're always wanting to anchor in what you really want. So generally, what you really want them to buy should be in the middle. Should be in the middle, right? So this would be perfect if you wanted to sell the retreat. If you really actually want to sell the $11,000 training, package it in with something else and make it $15,000, and then the $11,000 will seem cheap. Yeah, because you don't want them always going for the middle offer. So the perfect thing as well about actually selling the middle offer is that you don't seem salesy. If you offered this here, $11,965 or $195. What would happen is that person may feel like you're just pushing them for the $11,000 offer because you make the most amount of money, even though you may actually be doing that from the bottom of your heart because they need it. See? But if you push them for the middle offer and you say, look, Jane, the 11,000 training would be beautiful, you get a lot out of it. However, I don't know if you really need that. The best value for you would be $965 or $967. And that would actually be the best for you. It wouldn't be the best, obviously, the best for me if you bought that one, but I really want you to get the best result. See, so it's all about them, and they actually feel like you care about them, and this is all about them. So you're wanting to always put your middle offer as the one that you really want to give them. And then I usually offer a token offer at the end, something that they may not want to buy. So I'll offer them something to my website, $85 workshop, or maybe they'll just go for the 1 day $197. Now the key here is you don't want to be too stable with it. You don't want to be too rigid. Sometimes we think people have got stuff that they don't have. Sometimes we assume their financial situation when it's maybe not clear. Especially when we're selling to women, and I've picked up that most of this is selling to women. So the key here is that we don't know what their household income is. We don't know what the financial situation is behind them. We may go in at this and find they can only afford $85 workshop. We may go in low and find out they can actually afford this. So we're wanting to watch their face when we give them the deal. If we anchor at 11,000 and they don't even wince, then that's a good sign. But if you've anchored in 15 and you've scared the absolute Jesus out of them, then we may want to be a bit more flexible and offer an $85 option in the end. So we're wanting to be flexible. The number one key to sales is to be really, really flexible. So when you see that something may not happen, or there's a big gap between like 965 and 197 is a big gap, if you feel that you can, create something on the spot, maybe not the individual, but create like a 1 day and an individual, make it $497 to make it in between. So we're always being flexible so they can get the most out of it, the best value, but also we can actually sell bigger packages. Who here has a service that the more someone buys and spends, the better the result they get? So we're actually doing a better service if we can sell a higher package. I've never heard of anyone that the more they sell, the worse result they get. So I had, for example, this lady in social media, the story that I started with, where she actually was only selling like $85 packages, but the best result in terms of them making more money, getting better leads and having better higher sales was to buy a $1,000 package, but yet she'd never offered it. These poor women were expecting the result for $85 because she was too scared to drop the $1,000. Aren't we doing a disservice to our clients by not dropping what the real price is and by giving them the actual service that they need?